So my 40 female sister, Sophie, 26, and her husband, Ben, 28, have been trying for a kid recently. And about 3 months ago, my sister confirmed to the family that she was pregnant. I also have 2 kids, my son, Max, nearly adult, and my little daughter, Amelia. Max is gay, which I have to point out because it's pertinent to the incident, and he is currently dating another boy named Charlie. If I'm honest, I don't completely understand everything about his identity preferences. Still, I support him unconditionally, and I try my best to keep an open mind and listen to his problems. I can tell he's happy with Charlie, and they often hang out at the house together, watching movies or playing games. As long as they're safe and responsible, I frankly don't mind what they do, and I've gotten to know Charlie pretty well with how often he's over here. I don't think he's out to his parents yet, so the boys will casually come here after school. Okay, now on to the problem. So my sister and her husband recently got evicted from their apartment, and they didn't have a place to stay. We've never been close, so I suggested she try our parents first, but she was adamant that she stay at my house since we have a guest room, and if they stayed with our parents, they'd have to sleep on the couch. I gave in, of course, because I'd feel terrible if I didn't, and we agreed that she and her husband could stay a year to find a house and get their life together. About 2 months in, and I'm honestly surprised she didn't find out earlier since they weren't subtle about it, Sophie saw Charlie and Max kiss in the living room while in the kitchen with her husband and immediately gave me this disapproving glare. She had never acted like this before, so I was surprised when she went full-on freak out. She said something along the lines of, "Why are you letting them do that? That isn't normal," and went on that stereotypical boys are for girls, boys shouldn't be together, blah blah blah, and being super hateful and mean. My son liked Sophie, and I could tell what she was saying really hurt him. Here is where I may be the idiot. I got angry and told her she had the rest of the day to pack up her stuff and get out of my house. They left to stay with a friend of Sophie's, but now I'm getting phone calls and texts telling me that I'm heartless, that she was pregnant, how could I, etc. Should I have just let her stay? I honestly don't know what to do, but Max looks heartbroken right now. I don't think he was expecting her to act like that. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Good on you for protecting your son. He will always need you in his corner because it's a crappy, hateful world out there. However, your sister should have been better. Anyone who reaches out to shame you, let them know you appreciate their offer to take your sister in. Your first loyalty is to your children. I'd have done the same. Exactly. And who's calling OP about this? Other family members? Tell them she can move her bigoted butt into their home and mooch off of them. These people are in their late 20s and decide to have a baby they can't afford. Then they get free room and board and they aren't even grateful? Yeah, no. Them living in OP's home and acting that way around her son? No. They should not have gotten pregnant if they couldn't afford it and should have been more thankful for getting to mooch off of OP. I'd be willing to bet sister is telling them some stupid story about why she got kicked out and conveniently leaving out the part where she actively was attacking OP's son. OP should never have taken these irresponsible people in. They're expecting a baby, yet clearly are not financially able to do so, as shown by getting evicted. I know it's a side issue, but that was definitely an eyebrow raiser for me. Who in their right mind tries for a baby when they haven't even got stable accommodation? I pity sister's future child, more so if it's anything but straight. Not the idiot. She needs to leave. Her being pregnant does not entitle her to hurt your family and saying nasty things about her nephew. I will say that perhaps you overreacted a bit by insisting on their departure by the end of the day. It might have been a bit kinder to insist on a departure with a specified number of days. Here's my concern. You may have set yourself up for future grief if your sister for any reason she loses her pregnancy. Hopefully not, as she will forever blame you, rather than recognize that her behavior precipitated her eviction from your home. Update. Thank you everyone for your support and kind messages. It was much needed. I talked to my son about his aunt, and we had a heartfelt conversation about how he was amazing no matter what she or anyone else said. Charlie is also supporting him, and I think it helps. I also realized that I should have probably given her more of a notice to move out. One day certainly wasn't enough, but I guess I wasn't thinking clearly in the heat of the moment. I also talked to my sister a few hours ago. She wasn't remorseful. The meeting didn't end great, so we've decided to stop talking to her entirely. I'm bummed, but it was undoubtedly for the best. I plan to research more to better understand my son and his boyfriend and prevent this as much as I can in the future. Thank you, everyone, again. I, 23 male, recently attended my stepsister's 27 wedding. My sister and I are close, and I honestly wouldn't be here today without her. Her mother and my father passed away, and our parents then got married. We were kids when they married. Our younger sisters were born when we were teens. At first, our parents were terrible at blending families and didn't realize that it was especially difficult for my stepsister, who vividly remembered her mother. However, they soon realized their mistake and stopped trying to replace the opposite dead parent to give them credit. I could forgive and move on because I don't remember my father, but my sister found it difficult to forgive. My mom didn't know how to deal with a teenage girl and had a lot of expectations for her that she realized were cruel, and to her credit did apologize. My stepsister has always been soft-spoken and forgiving, and did try to work on her relationship with my mother for our sake because she did not want to cause conflict. She is very close to her father. She was very much the big sister and did so much for me, even though our parents told her she didn't need to and was also a child. I know it was hard on her, especially when I had some mental health struggles, and now I've promised myself I will take care of her for the rest of my life. My sister has always been very classy and would never let outsiders know anything about her struggles with her family. So when she told me about her plans to honor her parents at the wedding, I was shocked. I was slightly proud of her, even though her actions were, in my opinion, petty. At her wedding, she had a tribute for her mother and father, and her now husband spoke about his mother, father, and step-parents, who he had great relationships with, during dinner before the dancing. My mother was humiliated and cried. She included everyone in the family except my mom, and my sister's dad yelled at her outside. But the wedding was ruined for my sister. She was in tears and begged her dad not to leave before the father-daughter dance. I danced with my sister, but I felt so awful for her. Our parents asked me if I knew, and I told them that I did, and they got upset with me for not telling them. I think I was in the right, but I have been thinking, and maybe a warning would have prevented the blow-up at my sister's wedding. My sister has been so upset, and I wonder if I could have helped prevent this disaster. Edit. My mom was obsessed with my stepsister's appearance and controlled her eating a lot. Mom apologized, but the damage was done. My mom made her babysit a lot, made our lunches, and made her do our laundry because it was her job as the big sister. Again, Mom apologized, but it didn't stop her from viewing herself as a caregiver. Whenever my stepsister did anything as a teenager, like stay out too late, my mom would ask her if her dead mother would be proud of her. Not the idiot, and their reaction proves your sister was right not to tell them. If they knew ahead of time, I guarantee their attendance would depend on your mom getting mentioned. It seems your mom hasn't learned her lesson about trying to replace your sister's dead parent. I'm sorry, OP. Your parents acted monstrously. Who gets angry at a bride on her wedding day for remembering her late mother? That's so cruel and selfish. The husband mentioned his parents and step-parents. Sister only mentioned her parents, completely leaving out her stepmother. I think that's pretty cruel. It's not hard to take a sentence that says, "My dad always taught me blah blah blah," and change it to "My dad and stepmom always taught me." Your sister isn't dumb, I'm sure, and she must have known how it would look to everyone when her husband honored both step-parents and she deliberately left out your mom. She's justified in her feelings, but sometimes justification comes with consequences. Just because you aren't wrong per se, doesn't mean it will end well. Your sister didn't forgive your mom and made it known on the most public day ever. Her dad reacted poorly as well. There are no winners here, only broken hearts. Thank you, finally someone with common sense. Stepsister can't be mad, but she aired their dirty laundry in public and either knew or should have known how it would come off. I think the idea that she would purposely snub someone, then act shocked when they feel snubbed, is immature. There was plenty she could have done to acknowledge her stepmom without saying or implying she replaced her mom. OP is not the idiot though. He was smart not to involve himself. My friend, 20 female, makes being curvy a huge part of her personality. She's a short woman and weighs in the 300s, pound-wise, so she's pretty thick. However, she refers to herself as a big beautiful. She runs a body positivity Instagram page where she picks apart bodies of thin celebrities or random thin women with many Instagram followers. She digitally draws circles around their body parts and writes critical comments like, "Does this look like a natural high?" Or "Does this butt look like a normal woman?" She also refers to herself as a whole lot of woman and says thin women aren't real and don't have real women's bodies. In response to a picture I posted of my girlfriends and me in bikinis in a hot tub, she said to me, to my face, "I hate looking at bodies like this. Real women don't look like this. Why can't I ever see real bodies on my feed and not just skinny, stupid girls? Boys like a little booty too." I said my body is perfectly real, as she should already know, and I'm normal sized. Other obese people surround her, so she thinks huge bodies are normal when they're not and never have been. I told her this and she called me a typical fat phobic skinny witch. So am I the idiot here? Not the idiot. Wait, what? She's body shaming you for being you? What an absolute tool. There is nothing body positive about what she's doing. She's a cyber troll, pure and simple. If the only way you can feel good about yourself is to pull others down, that is not positive. That's bullying. Someone needs to call her out on this. Not the idiot. This nonsense isn't body positivity. She's shaming other people, whether it's her insecurities or just because she's a witch. If you posted photos of an obese woman and drew circles on their fat, you would be crucified online. So why is she allowed to? Also, obesity is not healthy. I know many women who are multiple sizes bigger than me and in way better shape or fitness. But severely overweight people who don't exercise, eat well, and barely move, then complain about skinny women not being real women, need to take a serious self-inventory. Everyone's the idiot here. Your friend doesn't run a body positivity Instagram page. You can't claim to be body positive and then tear apart people with different body types. She is just shaming body types that aren't identical to hers. What she's doing is wrong and an attempt at self-validation by vilifying others. Here is where you went wrong. You stooped to her level and fat shamed like the skinny shames. You ultimately just reinforced her misguided beliefs, as evidenced by her reply, and no change or growth came from it. I think you could apologize and restate your position in a better manner if you wanted to salvage the relationship. That said, I don't think the other person will ever change, so it might not be a relationship worth salvaging. My brother and his wife passed away in May. He specially requested me to take care of his son after he went. I agreed because I loved my brother dearly. I am financially stable, and I am prepared. But of course I asked my wife first. She was the one who agreed instantly. She has always wanted to be a mother, and she was excited but serious to start. So we took Aiden into our family. He's well-behaved and intelligent, mature for his age. But taking care of a kid is no joke. For me, I work from Monday to Friday, basically the whole day, but I still make time to help out and spend time with Aiden. To be honest, it is extremely tiring. However, I won't give it up for anything. I love him with my whole heart, and I want to carry out my brother's wish. My wife stays home and watches over him while I work during the day. She initially had no problem, but after 2 weeks, she was tired too. Now, nearly 6 months later, she is exhausted and somehow completely done with Aiden. Then 2 days ago, she told me that she wanted to stop taking care of Aiden. I was shocked. My wife and I promised my brother that we would take care of him. I asked why. I knew it was tiring, but I could try to help out more. I could try paying someone to help too. She said, "No, I'm just tired. I don't want to do it anymore." I got a bit angry at this point. I told her she agreed, and what would we do with Aiden then? She said, "Just give him up for adoption, please." I said no. She got furious. She said that I didn't know how it was like to take care of him full time. I agree about that, but I promised I'd try dedicating more time to help her. I said that I would do 50% of the housework too. I said I would get a helper, a babysitter, etc. But she wouldn't change her mind. She said she had this idea for a while. I told her I needed to think, and she said, "Okay, I'll give you time to think." What do I do? This is a sad situation for everyone involved, especially the child. He's young but school age. Why isn't he in school? I can understand how going from no child to full-time stay-at-home mother of a young child can be physically and emotionally exhausting. Was she working before this and quit her job to stay home? Personally, I would divorce her rather than put my nephew up for adoption, but I hope there are other paths forward than that for all of you. Definitely go to therapy as a couple and as a family, and put your nephew in his own treatment. He's been through more than any kid should ever have to go through. Your wife has basically been taking care of this child 24/7 for 6 months. You sound like you want to, but don't help. Maybe get her a therapist and hire a nanny, cleaners. She's stressed and at her wall. It happens when you don't do anything but childcare. Do you have a mother or someone who can take Aiden for a long weekend? Or something to give her a break to relax and not have to care for him? Yes, exactly. She did everything till she broke. I'm not surprised. She went from having no kids to being the sole caregiver for a little child. It's exhausting. She needs a break and a therapist. OP, you messed up by making your wife the sole caretaker of your nephew. She's seen her future if you decide to have children of your own, and it's not pretty. Go to some couples counseling. You guys need to learn to talk to each other before things get to the point where things are this bad. My sister is a single mother with 2 children, a tween and a pre-tween-year-old. The pre-tween is a boy, while the other one is a girl. She works a lot and doesn't have a lot of money to afford babysitting, so I started watching her kids for her for free. One day there was an incident where the pre-tween had gotten mad at me because I wouldn't let him jump on the couch. I explained to him that he could get hurt, and he threw a tantrum, which was normal. It's what young kids do. Well, around the time my sister gets home, he starts suddenly bawling his eyes out and running towards her. I'm confused as he was just fine a second ago, but followed behind him to greet her. He immediately starts a rant about how I had a man in the house and how neither he nor his sister had eaten at all that day. My sister was rightfully angry and started asking questions. I shook my head, said he was lying, and that she had cameras so we should probably sit down and watch them. She said no and that I needed to go before she called the police. So I left. A few hours later, she calls me and apologizes, saying she watched the footage and saw no man enter the house at all, and that she had seen that her son had refused to eat the dinner I made them. She asked when I could come by next, as she hoped I understood the misunderstanding, but I said I would no longer be babysitting for her. She said that he's young and that kids lie all the time, but I still refused. We went back and forth over the phone insulting each other, and that was that. Our mother thinks I'm ridiculous for being mad at a kid, but it's more than that. I could have gotten in trouble if the police had shown up and he was saying what he said. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Most children his age wouldn't lie to that severity. His mother is allowing him to manipulate her and even threatens you with the police. She's already shown that she will take his word over yours, so there's no reason you should watch him again. The sister should try to get him into some therapy or help through the school or a private source. But unfortunately, this mindset of his is going to worsen as he gets older and even more devious. Agree. This is a child that knows they can lie to manipulate. They may not understand completely that's what they're doing. Only I do this and get what I want. Based on not watching the cameras with you before resorting to all sorts of other things, I can guess that he's gotten away with this previously. What happens if next time he claims something happens that would be off camera? Police? Other things? Let your mom take care of them if she's so indignant that someone should.